All right. So I want to talk to you a little bit about rounding. And I want you to remember that whenever we are doing something, especially in math, there is more than one way to reach the answer. I like to think I'm going to give you lots of different strategies, and then you're going to find the one that fits you best, which way helps you figure out the answer the best. Okay. So we just glued this paper into our notebook, and I'm just going to read it together, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. It says rounding. The directions will tell you to round to the nearest. I want you guys to look up here. Tens, hundreds, or thousands. Why are those directions really, really, really important when you're rounding? Why is it really important to read the directions and to see if it says tens, hundreds, or thousands? Claire, why is that so important?
Because if you're not looking up there and you think it's tens, but it's actually hundreds,
Yeah.
you'll get the answer wrong.
Exactly. It's the first thing you have to do. All right, Miss Terry's group. It's the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out, where am I rounding to, right? Okay, so the very, very first thing we have to do, let's see if I can find some eyes that are up here so I know I've got your eyes and attention. Good job, thank you. You have to figure out, where am I rounding? Am I rounding to the tens? Am I rounding to the hundreds? Or am I rounding to the thousands? What we're going to do when we figure that out is we're going to be using either the tens number line, the hundreds number line, or the thousands number line. Look at these number lines. What's this one counting by, Nick? Tens. What's this one counting by, Claire? Hundreds. Cam, what's this one counting by? Thousands. It's jumping either tens, hundreds, or thousands. Now, every time we do a problem, we don't have to write this entire number line. We're going to just be writing a little section of the number line. But that's what we're doing. We're making a little number line. So look at these number lines, and we're going to be saying, okay, I have an example, 87. 87 rounded to the tens place. Point to the number line you would be using. Claire's got it. Cam's got it. Where would 87 go on that number line? Between what two numbers?
70 and 80.
Close.
87.
80 and 90. Good. 87 would be in between 80 and 90. So the answer is either going to be 80 or 90. Guys, we just sorted it down to two possible answers. That's pretty good. We know it's going to be 80 or 90. Okay? So it says decide where the number will be on the number line. That's what we did. If you are rounding to 87 to the nearest tens, I know 87 becomes between 80 and 90. So I will look to the number to the right of the tens place, which tells me to round up. So 87 goes to 90. Good. So why does this one in the ones place tell it to round up? What's the rule? Why does the 7 tell the 87 to round up?
Because has to climb the vine.
It has to climb the vine, because where is 7?
7 is over by 6.
It's between 5 and 9, isn't it? Okay, look at this rule. If the number is to the right, if the number to the right is 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, round down. Go to the smaller number. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, round up. Now, let's think about our poem that we've learned. Who remembers it? 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, make sure you can see the whole thing. Climb the vine. We talked about this a lot yesterday. We were trying to remember, how can we remember? We're going to talk a little bit more about the fact that these guys are little. So they're going to be closer to the lower number because they're just a couple steps away. 2 is only 2 steps away from the lower number. These guys are big, so they're going to be closer to the bigger number. When you round, you're going to the one that it's closer to, okay? Sometimes we even say, the little baby numbers, they can't tell you what to do. They're like little baby brothers and sisters. They can't tell you what to do. The big numbers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they can say, hey, get up to that bigger number. And then yesterday, one of my friends said, you know what? You can't go to school until you're 5 years old. So maybe it's the ages of the people who get to go to school that can say, get bigger. And I thought, all of those are great ways to remember this. However you want to put it in your head to help you remember. Exactly. You can't go to kindergarten until you're 5. So if you're not even in school, you're not going to be able to tell them to get bigger. It's just going to stay. All of these are just kind of silly ways to help you remember something. And that's one of the fun ways to learn, is try to make silly things up that help you remember. 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. That's a silly rhyme to help you remember what those numbers tell it to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple examples, and I want you guys to just kind of help me through it, okay? All right, the first thing you have to do is you have to decide where are we rounding to. So the first one's going to say round to the tens. Okay, so you got it? Where are we rounding to? The tens. Point to the number line that you would use for rounding to the tens. Good. For my friends at home, rounding to the tens. This is the tens place. Okay, so let's do 36. Okay, the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to ask myself, where on the number line would 36 be? What number is before it? Listen to it. 36. It tells you 36. What's before it? 30. What number is after it?
40.
We just created a section of that number line, and we just came up with the 2 possible answers. It has to be one of those. Okay? Okay, now how do we know? Is it 30 or 40?
40.
How did you know? You can tell me the answer, but I need to understand how you got it, because if I can't understand how you got it, I might not be able to do it.
5 to 9.
Okay, so I'm going to circle the tens place. This number is trying to decide, do I stay the same or do I get bigger? Who does he ask?
The 6.
I'm going to ask my neighbor. It's the 6.
He goes to school, so he tells them to go.
I love it. Claire said 6 is already in school, so he's going to say get bigger. That's how she remembered it. You might say 6, 5 to 9, climb the vine. That's how you could remember it. Or let me ask you a question. How many jumps away from 40 is 6? How many more do you need to get up to 10? 6 plus what equals 10? 4. That means 36 is 6 jumps away from 30, because it's 6 jumps away. 36, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 6 jumps away from 30. But it's only how many jumps to 40?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's closer to 40. So 36 rounds to 40. Now, can I show you something really quickly? What if there were some numbers in front of this 36, but it still said round to the tens place? For example, what if the number was 9,236?
Then they would just get to ride along.
They just get to ride along. So guys, this is the exact same thing. I'm still going to say it might be 30 or 40, but guess what I do? I just put these numbers on the beginning. So then the answer becomes 9,240. Good job. So let's do one more together. What's the first step always?
Look up at the tens.
You have to look at the
Hundreds, or if it says hundreds or thousands.
So we have to read the directions. Please don't forget to read the directions and just go, oh, I'm still rounding to the tens. What does this one say?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. All right. So let's do. All right. First thing I want to do is I want to find the hundreds place because it's the one that matters. It's what the directions are telling us. Nick, what's in the hundreds place? I always circle it. I get my scrap paper, I write that number down, I circle the place I'm working on because it helps me so much. And then I know that this is the number that's not sure which way it's going to go. So what could it be?
300 or 400.
Oh, good job, Claire. How did she figure that out? It could be 300 because that's in the number, 8,329. Or it could be
400.
Good job. Okay, there's this number in front.
Just let it ride along.
Just let it ride along. But don't forget about it. You can't just leave it behind. He's on the ride. So after I figured out that 3 might be 300 or it might be a 400, I'm going to let that 8 just ride along. I'm going to put it on there. So now I have the two possible answers. It could be 8,300 or it could be 8,400. I see a 9. 9 tells it to get bigger. I think it's going to be this one.
No.
What did I do wrong?
You have to ask the 10.
I have to ask the one right behind it. Guys, that's why I draw the arrow. I want to make sure I'm asking the right number. That 9 does not get to jump over the 2 and tell the 3 what to do. It's the 2 that decides. So Cam, what does the 2 tell that 3? Just stay 300. Yeah, I'm a little number. I'm closer to you. I'm only 2 jumps away from this. So you're not going to want to jump all the way up here. How many jumps does it take to get here?
8.
To 8. 2 plus 8 to get to 10 more. That's 8 jumps away. This one's 2 jumps away. My answer is 8,300 because the 2 said stay. And remember, there's lots of ways you can know that. 0 to 2, stay on the floor. Or he's too little to go to school. He can't tell me what to do. Or on my number line, he's only 2 jumps away. So I'm not going to go any farther. Cool? All right, you guys are awesome. Let's